Masterpiece alignment. So this is about getting the various aspects in your business aligned with your masterpiece so that as you build in the right direction, it will bring the best out of you and also the best will come through you. Let's take a look at a diagram here. So on the left-hand side, we got you with your genius and your genius different numbers and symbols over there. And then the right-hand side is your masterpiece. So you using your genius over time in a focused manner is your forever business building towards your masterpiece. So some of the areas that help to be aligned and actually are required to be in alignment for you to produce your masterpiece, for example, is the business model. So not all business models are created equal. I definitely learned that through having a web design business where it took a lot of people power. It took a lot of personnel. It's a lot of customization. And we always had to sell because there was no recurring revenue in the business. You know, we'd sell a website package and then it was done. And then later on we did get social media deals, but it wasn't the bread and butter of the business. So after that, I knew that I was like, I can't deal with the stress of always having to sell new deals at the start of every month just to make payroll. And so the business model I chose was the SEO business model, the rank and rent business model, where we own the websites, we own the phone numbers, we rank the websites for like a local service, and then we send the leads to a provider. And then they pay us a rental, just like how businesses rent office space at a mall or shop space at a mall. They were renting this digital real estate from us. So it's a business model that's people are paying every month because they're getting value every day, and then B, it's a much less hands-on business. It's a much more automated business, a much more leveraged business. So with your business model, for example, you could be a local business, local restaurant, and just working your face off. Or I've seen it in dealerships where you're just giving everything to it. But since it's such a hard business model, you got to be so good at so many things just to stay above water. Whereas other business models have a lot more leeway. You don't have to be freaking perfect at everything. And actually, you just got to do a few things right and it'll go well. So business model it really determines everything. So some of my favorite business models are information products like this because there's a lot of leverage to it. People can enjoy it 24/7 from the comfort of their home. You don't have to go to an event. These are all things to take in advisement and also see what type of business and life do you want. Do you want to be traveling to hotels speaking all the time? If that's you, then that's awesome. Or do really this is about building the life that you want, building the business around what you want. And other business models I really like are software, SaaS businesses, software as a service, high leverage, continuous value, and allows you to build in a way that is way more chill than than a web design agency. So take a look at what you want for yours, and then it's really the product. So what do you want to provide, and who do you want to provide it to? Big piece there. Like I said, the one thing that I had before was like web design. So we just so custom and all this touch points and all these phone calls, and it just took so much work. Whereas the rank and rent model of SEO, rank it, set it up, have systems in place, and just maintain that rather than always starting something from scratch. Another one is the audience. So who do you want to deliver your service to? Now, a very important point that we see in the case studies all the time is that a business owner will start and build a successful business around providing a service to an audience, but then they go and grow and say they go on a spiritual journey and they, or an inner journey, whatever it is, and they grow beyond themselves. And then they come back and they can't quite connect to that audience. So the master move here is to A, get clear on your own values, B, get clear on your vision, and that's why that's been a key part of the previous module, because then you can select the audience with a similar shared vision and similar core values. And that way, as you grow, they can grow with you because you're united by the shared vision of where you're going and you're united by the shared values. So that allows there to be a learning back and forth experience instead of just a one-way experience. It allows growth over time, over decades, instead of just providing one specific solution for one specific problem. And that's really the key here, because forever business, we want to keep growing with the people that we serve. We want to keep learning from them too. It's a mutual thing. And that's what happens here. And if that isn't happening, I see it time and time again, where a person feels disconnected to the audience that they worked so hard to build and it was so successful. So use that in yours and find the people with the same shared vision and the same shared values. And then it's team. So who do you have around you? Do you have the right people around you? Do you have those right, they might be the right people. Are they in the right places in the business? Are they following their genius path? Are they working together in the optimal way? And we'll get into this more in the end of this module, the Masterpiece Technology, as well as in the next module, all about community. So having that aligned in the path of your masterpiece. Systems. So what systems do you have in place? And of course, blue is having the right systems around you where you barely have to do anything. And it's less is more. And your role. So what is the role you really want to do? What are you building towards? What do you want your work week to look like? What do you want your work day to look like? What are your activities? What don't you want to do? And so we'll really get into this in the future videos here so you can get more and more clarity of bringing this alignment in for yourself, because bringing it back to the name of the module, efficiency. If we have some of these out, it decreases efficiency. And you can be as productive as all that you want in your piece, but if these aren't lined up, then we're not efficient. But when these are lined up, it allows us to increase our impact. So one item with this too is that with your role, there's this idea in business that just focus on your strengths, double down on your strengths, and delegate the rest. And there's truth to that. That's the tricky thing, is there's definitely truth to that. However, it's not the full truth. Because as we've seen time and time again in the research, people have hidden talents. And if you just double down on your strengths, you're just doubling down on your natural talents and not your hidden talents. And if you're not doubling down on your hidden talents, then you're leaving a whole amount of talents in your genius path untapped. So the key here is to be clear on what your genius talents are. What's your genius zone, which we'll have technology for that in the end of this section, so that you can really envision your role bringing the maximum of your natural talents and your hidden talents. And then it will allow you to take what's working for you right now, but also give space for these hidden talents to emerge through you, which will allow you to make leaps and gains and ultimately be more effective and help you move faster towards building your masterpiece. So this is masterpiece alignment. These are a few of the sections. So I invite you to think about which one feels like the closest one for you to tweak to be in alignment. And that's the one to write down. That's the one to start with. Because as you get that one in alignment, then it becomes that much easier to get the next one in alignment, and so on and so forth. That's what I got for you in this video. I'll see you in the next one.